There's a lot of content out there, such as YouTube videos and CBR articles. They usually take a character out of their respective series and call them the best character in that series. For content like this can backfire, as there's many other characters that deserve their flowers when it comes to being the best in their anime. Which is why I'm being totally 100% original with this new series called ArcMVPs, which is kind of self-explanatory. I just take a character and claim that they're the best character in that arc or saga. You know, this might backfire because this is also 100% subjective, but guess what? I don't fucking care. And in this series premiere, we're gonna start off with my favorite anime of all time, YuYuHakusho. Honestly, if you don't know what Yu Hakusho is at this point, you're either very young or very uncultured. However, if you are interested in watching Yu Hakusho and you haven't already, I highly suggest you click off this video now, because I'm really going to tell the whole story in this whole video. So click off now and forever hold your peace. Fun fact, the Spirit Detective Saga is actually my favorite saga in any anime ever. The way they touched upon Yusuke's character and his relationships with every other character, and just the way they set the tone for the anime in general, it ultimately made me so attached to the show and Yusuke as a character, making Yusuke my favorite character and making Yu Yu Hakusho my favorite show instantly. The way he's introduced that he believes himself won't amount to shit, and then he dies and starts thinking to himself, you know, since I'm dead, nobody's gonna give a fuck about me. And then he finally figures out that people actually give a fuck about him. He grows from there on out. He decides to take a second chance, which he almost declined, and later on accepted the fact that, you know, not a lot of people get this chance. So to get the second chance of life, he becomes a spirit detective, completes tasks, meets some new characters such as Hiei and Kurama, and relationships such as Keiko and Kuwabara become very strong. And after he returns to his living state, he gets stronger from Genkai's tournament and fights alongside his new friends. And then later on completes a rescue mission with Kuwabara. Now, if it is obvious enough, Yusuke obviously wins the Spirit Detective Saga. Of course, the Spirit Detective Saga being the beginning arc, of course the main character is going to get it. It shouldn't really be any surprise. However, I do want to acknowledge Kuwabara's involvement in the saga, even though I believe it's a wide margin between the two. Kuwabara, as the saga went on, went from a very annoying character to someone who showed a lot of determination throughout the rest of the saga. And when it came to Yukina's rescue, that's where he shined the most. It proved that he was a character that he will fight for something no matter what the cause is once he has his mind set on it. I don't want to ignore Kurama and Hiei either, because although they were good characters, we don't really get to see much of their full potential until the next arc. Now, if you're a Yu Yu Hakusho stan like me, I know you guys believe that the Dark Tournament Saga is the greatest tournament arc of all time. We get introduced to many new characters. The Toguro brothers were introduced in the last arc, and they are considered threats as the arc moves on. And of course, before the tournament starts, we get to see their little training montages or whatever, and we do get to see deeper character developments in Kurama and Hiei. We even get a deeper dive into the relationship of Toguro and Genkai. But speaking of those two are co-MVPs of this arc. I honestly couldn't pick one because I feel like since they were developing together, I think it wasn't right to just give it to only one person. Although Yusuke was a great character in this arc, like super amazing, as he usually is, because, you know, Yusuke is the greatest anime character of all time. I think the relationship between Toguro and Genkai hit much deeper with everybody in this arc, especially with Genkai's supposed death. And the main thing Toguro was doing in his battle with Yusuke was basically helping Yusuke get stronger. If it wasn't for Toguro fake killing Kuwabara, I don't think Yusuke would be that strong. He wouldn't have reached that full potential. So yes, Yusuke is the runner-up of this. I also want to give a quick shout out to Hiei again. Hiei's whole little character arc with his black dragon flame and basically going the whole tournament handicapped was very interesting. Also, I want to mention Kurama as well, because I believe Kurama had the best battle in the whole show with Karasu. However, Toguro and Genkai definitely take the cake as co-MVPs. Their story together with their past and Genkai staying the same and not taking into any temptations, while Toguro took the temptation of becoming a demon. You know, I just feel like that little duo alone I can't choose one or the other. Those two are the MVPs of the Dark Tournament Saga. Again, this shit is subjective, and if you disagree with me, then you can suck my dick. See, Chapter Black was known as an item that was like forbidden from like being able to watch or something like that, or something bad would happen. And a former spirit detective got a hold of it and has had a very corrupted mindset ever since. That man's name is Shinobu Sensui. As the contents of the Chapter Black DVD have been revealed, due to the sins of human history, Shinobu decided to take a turn for the worse, and instead of being a spirit detective, he decided to side with some demons and open a portal to the demon world. I feel like this character for Shinobu was very interesting because it kind of gave like the same kind of concept as an evil character taking on the protagonist's role. You can kind of relate it to like Lelouch and Eren in a sense. Makes you think to yourself like, what if Yusuke became evil or something like that? Speaking of Yusuke, we found out this nigga was a devil the whole time. Now with this demon form that Yusuke holds, it kind of brings some internal conflict, which makes us see a side of Yusuke that we don't really see that much. This is actually the first time Yusuke actually like killed a human. He didn't take that too lightly. Really like did some type of imagery with fighting some demons and then turning into one afterwards. I also want to mention Kurama, because Kurama is known as a very calm character, but it was known to be one of the most evil demons in the demon world and the most vicious and dangerous or whatever the fuck. Although we saw it in the first two arcs, saw a certain cold side to him that we never got to see, and I think we were kind of expecting to see. This nigga killed a kid with no remorse, and he kind of stood up to Sensui. My MVP is definitely between these three, but if I had to choose one, I think it's pretty obvious it's Sensui. Kurama takes second place for sure, and to be honest, Yusuke was pretty underwhelming. He's gonna take third place in that one. But Sensui, he basically won even though he died. He actually did open up the demon world. So I mean, that's all he needed. He was able to fulfill his plan the way that he wanted and basically manipulated his way into doing what he wanted to do from the very start, even if it cost him his life. I will admit Three King Saga is the weakest arc, and there really isn't that much to it, so I'm going to try and explain it as fast as possible. The three kings, Ryzen, Mukuro, and Yomi, have been beefing with each other for a while. However, Ryzen's about to pass away because of a sickness, so he trains Yusuke, as it's revealed that Ryzen is Yusuke's ancestral forefather or some shit like that. As Kurama accompanies Yomi as they were partners back in the day. And Hiei accompanies Mukuro, as Mukuro sees something in Hiei in herself. Now, as Ryzen officially dies, Yusei's like, you know what, I don't fuck with this Three King shit. So he pulls up to Yomi's place and says, you know what, eat a Frank. We're gonna do the 19th tournament in the whole series for there to be one king of the Makai world. We see old characters from the Dark Tournament, which is nice to see some familiar faces. However, they all get wiped out in the first round. To the best of my knowledge, Hiei and Kurama don't make it that far either. And I feel like Yusuke is the only one that makes it to like top 8 or something like that. But I will say he did have a very impressive fight with Yomi. Then in the end, it turns out that Ryzen's best friend becomes the king of the Makai world. The arc was pretty straightforward, and it's not because it was bad that I went through it quickly. It's just because there's only one character that like really shined throughout this arc, and that character is Hiei. Besides all the things I mentioned, they also went through Kurama and Hiei's past a lot more. Sure, the relationship between Yomi and Kurama was interesting, and I guess Yomi's character was pretty cool as well. However, I was personally more intrigued by learning more about Hiei's past and his clan, and it also goes more in depth with his relationship with Yukina as a brother and sister type thing. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I'm completely shocked I was able to put this under 10 minutes. However, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys like this new series. I appreciate if you guys leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment as well. Comment what other show y'all want me to do with this ArcMVP shit. Appreciate y'all once again, and hopefully we can start this year off strong. I'll catch y'all later. Deuces.